Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. So today we are going to talk about how to easily mark exams. I know how to mark exams, but I want to expound on 3 areas that if you put them into perspective, you will find your work very easy when marking, especially if you are a new teacher. Just try them. These 3 things are reading fast, there is marking itself, and I don't know as a teacher if you have ever Googled about how to read fast. Reading fast is always in the mind, and I've ever tried to Google it several times. I've also maybe consulted a few teachers to know how to read work fast. You're reading fast most of the content, if not all of it. And we have a few scholars who are experts in reading fast, and they talked about 2 things that you put forth or you remember when reading fast. They said that if you want to be a fast reader, you have to be a frequent reader. That is, you read a lot of material. You don't have to read the newspaper or the books that you teach about. You can read about everything that interests you. If it's cooking, you can read about politics, you can read about romance. What makes it fun to read? Read what you like, but make sure you read often. Because if you read often, that means your mind is used to reading a lot of content. And also that means that your eyes are already trained to read what? Fast, because you want to know more about politics. You want to know more about cooking, and that is what interests you. So you're going to read a lot of material in it. So if you've read widely, yes, then let me say that. If you've read widely, that means it will be very easy for you to read the students' work easily and grade very fast. One of the experts said that you can skip the first 2 words and the last 2 words, and you read there in between. All the content is there. Even if you skip the first 2 words and the last 2 words, you won't miss any content. You won't miss anything because your mind always knows how to join what? Sentences well as a teacher. And that method, I think it's good. You will be reading very fast that you can be able to do what? To just skip a bit and you're getting all the content. I don't know how true that is. What I believe myself is that reading is always in the mind. Reading fast is always in the mind. It's not about how your eyes are passing very fast. No, it's always in the mind. If you're a reader and you get a student's paper, you will read it very fast. It just comes out naturally because you've come across a lot of work. 2, we go to the marking itself. The way I've been taught, and I think the way most of you have been taught, is that you're supposed to put the tick at the end of the what? At the end of the sentence to show that you've read the whole sentence. That is okay. You can put a small tick, or you can put a larger one. Is it a larger or a huge one? I don't know. It depends. And it doesn't matter. But I prefer putting a small one to show that I've already read that material at the end. Because now I know how to read fast. The tick doesn't matter. Whether it's more, it's your preference. In marking itself, what makes it fast also is I usually mark per question. I mark per question. I don't mark the whole paper. No, I mark per question. When you mark per question, that means already the marking scheme is in your head. You already know what you're marking because you've taught it over and over and over. But to get the most or to give the best to each student, I've discovered myself, if I mark each question by itself, I mark for every student question 1, for every student question 2, I tend to mark very fast, and I tend to be almost to perfection. You know, someone, you cannot be perfect, but you don't make any errors. That's how I mark. But I find other teachers mark the whole paper. That for me, I find it's very tedious. But if I go per question, it also depends with what you teach. But marking, if you mark, if you're teaching subjects like CRE, and you mark question 1, A, B, C, and then you go to question 1, A, B, C to the next student, question 2, A, B, C for the first student up to the last student, and then later you go to question 3. That's how the easiest way to mark for me. Because now, already by the time I mark the first 5 students, by the 6th one, everything is just flowing. It's very fast. When you're marking and then you get bored, don't stop marking. You can change to what? To grade another subject. Or you can change to mark another subject. Because the moment you stop marking and you do something aimless, yes, the work is going to pile up. Because now as you're marking, there are other subjects which are also being what? Done. So you have to mark all that work. So if you stop, you keep on telling yourself, oh, I'll mark later. Later you have family issues that you also have other responsibilities. So just have that, just push yourself a little bit. Maybe that changing of subject, you start grading another different paper, helps. It helps. Or you grade that subject that you love more than the one that you're grading now. That also helps. I don't know. Remember, and I think I usually remind all my students that motivation will automatically be there if you start doing the work. It comes after you start, you begin. You begin grading even if you don't feel like, you begin marking even if you don't feel like, then the motivation automatically will come. But if you expect to be motivated to mark, it doesn't work. Motivation always comes after you start something. So try it. Then the last one is delegate. Delegate. There are different ways of delegating. You find some of the schools, the teachers don't actually mark the work. There are people who are there who are already paid to do so. Those are a few schools, and mostly there are those schools that can be able to do that. But we have other local schools which do not offer that privilege. What you do is you look for those teachers who are very active and who are very thorough with their work. Ask them to assist you in marking your papers. And of course, some of them tell you to, they do it at a small fee, which is convenient. And most teachers also do that. You can do that. Just ask. Don't say, I don't have anyone to give my papers to so that they can mark for me. No, ask. And they'll do what? They'll do it for you. You can also, in your school, there are those teachers who are already trained. They're in the university and they're in your school for teaching practice. You see, they're already trained, fully trained. And actually they need the what? The experience. So ask them to grade for you. That is part of them learning how to do what? To do it in teaching. As long as you teach them how to understand the marking scheme better. And it's even better if they are what? They are marking the subject that they're teaching or their info in the teaching practice. You see, that is good. You can also get someone from another school. You can get someone from a different school whereby they are not administering the exams during that time. You know which teachers to give to, but you ensure that there are those teachers who are really serious with their work and they know how to do what? To grade. And this is good if you don't feel like doing it. But you remember that you have to have a fat pocket. So let me know of any other methods that can make marking of exams easier Or if you can add a tip, I know you have so many tips. Just add them in the what? In the comment section. Blessings.